You feel stuck. You wake up, try to push forward, and nothing seems to move. Tasks that once felt effortless now weigh heavy on your mind. Even when you want to create, even when you try to build, the energy doesn't follow. You are not lazy. You are not failing. Something inside you is shifting. A quiet transformation that the world cannot see yet. You are awakening. And what you are feeling now, the unproductiveness, the fog, the strange resistance, is actually the hidden stage before your true power emerges. By the end of this video, you will understand why spiritual awakening makes you feel unproductive, why it is essential for your growth, and how to navigate it so you can turn confusion into clarity, frustration into purpose, and pause into unstoppable momentum. The first sign is subtle. You notice your drive is fading, not all at once, but piece by piece. Tasks that used to give satisfaction now feel hollow, like echoes from a life that no longer fits you. You push through anyway, trying to force productivity, but your energy resists. You begin to question yourself. Is this laziness? Am I broken? Have I lost my edge? The truth is far more profound. Your old self is stepping aside to make room for a version of you that has never existed before. And that emptiness you feel is not a void. It is fertile ground. But most people fail to recognize it. They panic, try to fill the silence, try to create momentum from thin air. And in doing so, they miss the subtle signals that the awakening is already in progress. There is a part of your mind quietly observing, quietly reorganizing, quietly preparing you for the next stage, and if you ignore it, you risk stagnation without even realizing it. Distractions increase like never before. Social media, notifications, random thoughts, old memories, fleeting fears, everything becomes louder. Your concentration fractures. You begin to feel anxious and impatient. Why is this happening now? Why can't I focus? Your brain is upgrading. Your consciousness is expanding faster than your old routines, your habits, and your energy patterns can handle. The tension you feel is not a malfunction. It is the sign that your mind and energy are rewiring to a higher standard. The problem is, your old definition of productivity has not caught up. You try to measure your worth through output, through completion, through visible progress, but the real work is invisible, happening beneath the surface, and most people never see it. They abandon the process thinking they are stuck, when in reality they are exactly where they are supposed to be, in the waiting room of growth, where transformation begins quietly, invisibly, but irrevocably. Your old goals begin to feel meaningless. What once mattered suddenly feels shallow. Deadlines, achievements, projects, relationships, they no longer resonate. You try to force yourself to pursue them, but it is exhausting and unfulfilling. This is where most people fail. They see the dissonance, feel the fatigue, and assume they have lost their ambition entirely. But the awakening is not about losing ambition. It is about discovering which ambitions truly matter. What seems like resistance is actually a compass, guiding you toward work, projects, and life choices that align with your deeper self. If you follow that compass, even partially, the fog starts to lift. But ignoring it prolongs the confusion, deepens frustration, and keeps you trapped in the illusion of unproductiveness. What you are about to discover is that every moment of this discomfort is a lesson, a map, and an initiation, even if you cannot see it yet. Energy shifts are one of the most disorienting parts of awakening. Your body, habits, and even sleep patterns start behaving unpredictably. Some days you feel drained for no reason, while other days you cannot sit still. Your old routines collapse and your comfort zones feel unstable. It is as if life has moved beneath your feet, and you are standing at the edge of a cliff, staring at a landscape you have never seen, knowing that you must leap, but unsure where you will land. That fear, that discomfort, is not a problem. It is the preparation your mind and body need to operate at a higher level. Most people never jump. They cling to the familiar, to what feels safe, and they miss the evolution waiting on the other side. But you are different. You are waking up. And once you lean into this tension, once you take the first steps toward uncertainty, a new form of energy will emerge, one that is aligned, unstoppable, and far more capable than your old productivity ever allowed. Time itself begins to distort. Days feel longer, weeks slip by unnoticed, and months vanish in a haze. You feel motionless, while the world seems to move ahead of you. The more you try to push, the heavier everything feels, and yet every pause is preparing you. Every period of apparent inactivity is building invisible infrastructure for your next breakthroughs. The brain is reorganizing priorities. The mind is integrating new perspectives. Your consciousness is expanding. What feels like wasted time is actually essential incubation. The challenge is trusting the unseen, trusting the internal shifts and resisting the urge to force the old pace. And if you can endure this phase without giving in to frustration or self-judgment, your return to productivity will not be gradual. It will be explosive, precise, and perfectly aligned with your next level of growth. Creative blocks appear when you least expect them. You sit to write, build, or design, and inspiration is gone. Nothing flows. Your usual spark feels dead. Panic sets in. You think this phase will last forever. But the reality is subtle and profound. Your definition of productivity is evolving. Doing for the sake of doing is no longer enough. Your mind is teaching you to distinguish between meaningful work and motion without purpose. The tasks you once considered essential are now tests of alignment, patience, and clarity. When you finally recognize the difference, your approach to work, creativity, and life will never be the same. You will no longer chase output. You will pursue resonance, impact, and purpose. And in that shift, the world itself will begin to feel lighter, more navigable, more attuned to who you truly are. Isolation often follows. Others do not understand the change. Friends, family, colleagues see your quiet state, your hesitation, your scattered focus, and they assume laziness or failure. You may feel unseen, misunderstood, or frustrated. This is where most people crumble. They rely on external validation, seeking reassurance from a world that does not yet speak their language. But here's the secret. Your growth cannot be measured by anyone else's standards. Your awakening is internal, personal, and invisible. The people who understand will appear later, after you have completed this phase. And those who do not understand, their opinions are not your reality. The path you are on is yours alone, and walking it requires courage, patience, and trust in what is unseen. Then come the small, almost imperceptible breakthroughs. A thought that clicks, a pattern you suddenly notice, a feeling that something has shifted. At first they are fleeting and easy to dismiss, but they are proof that your transformation is real. These moments signal that the internal reorganization is working, that the foundations are being laid for your next stage. If you ignore them, you miss the message. If you notice them, you begin to see a map forming under your feet, a path that had always existed but could only be revealed after you navigated the fog. The tension, the waiting, the so-called unproductiveness, all of it becomes the invisible scaffolding that supports the life you're about to build. The paradox is unavoidable. The more you fight unproductiveness, the longer it persists. Resistance fuels frustration. Struggle without alignment deepens fatigue. The most effective way forward is not through force, but through observation and trust. Observe your thoughts, your energy, your patterns. Trust the invisible work happening beneath the surface. Every pause, every delay, every period of confusion is constructing the infrastructure of your next breakthroughs. Once you allow it to complete its work, your energy returns stronger, sharper, and more focused than ever. The world of your previous productivity will seem pale compared to what emerges after this phase. Patience becomes your greatest ally. Urgency is the enemy. Deadlines, pressure, and the need to catch up are illusions. Your consciousness is expanding at a rate your old habits cannot follow, and rushing only creates misalignment. This is the period where real growth happens in silence, out of sight, unmeasured by conventional standards. When this incubation phase ends, productivity does not just return, it transforms into something precise, intentional, and aligned with your truest self. The unproductive phase was never a flaw. It was training. Preparation, the soil before the seed. Finally, understand that this journey tests everything. Patience, trust, focus, and resilience. You are learning to distinguish motion from meaning, to recognize alignment versus effort without purpose. When the fog lifts, your actions, choices, and decisions carry weight and direction. Looking back, what seemed like stagnation will appear as the moment you learned the invisible rules of growth, the stage that prepared you for unstoppable momentum. The awakening is not a distraction from productivity, it is the essential prelude to it. And once you internalize this, nothing will ever feel unproductive again. Feeling unproductive is not failure. It is a message, a pause, and a hidden stage of growth. Honor it and you emerge stronger, clearer, and unstoppable. Every frustrating moment, every hour of confusion is shaping your next breakthrough. Even when progress seems invisible, it is happening beneath the surface. Your awakening is real. Your potential is expanding, your clarity is growing, and soon every move you make will be intentional, aligned, and far more powerful than anything you've experienced before. If this connected with you, thank you for watching until the end. Like and subscribe. This is your reminder that the invisible work matters, even when nothing seems to move. The awakening is happening, and your next chapter will arrive fully formed, unstoppable, and aligned with who you are truly meant to become.